All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'll just accept the people that come in a little bit later, but first I want to thank everyone for joining the Acumatica and Skyriver IT virtual lunch and learn. Before I get started, I wanted to mention that you should have received the GrubHub voucher earlier today. And if you're experiencing any issues, please feel free to reach out to me and Daniel after this meeting, and we can get that squared away for you guys. Let me go ahead and invite Mike. All right, for our agenda today, we're going to be going over Skyriver IT and Acumatica. After that, Jake is going to give you guys a live demo of Acumatica, and then we'll wrap things up with some Q&A. Our two presenters today is Rudy Michelin. He's the CEO of Skyriver IT, and Jake Del Doso, who is with Skyriver IT and a pre-sales partner enablement with Acumatica. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Rudy so he can give you a little background of who we are at Skyriver IT.
Thanks for that, Aaron. Skyriver IT, we've been around for 12 years now and based in San Diego with offices in Newport Beach and Austin, Texas. We are in the managed service provider space. That's basically outsourced IT. We do Acumatica implementation, so we're an Acumatica VAR, value-added reseller, and we also do IT consulting / cybersecurity. Next slide. So when you work with us, what can you come to expect? A number of things. First and foremost is we're a 24/7 live answer shop. So when you have a problem, just call us and we will have a solution for you. As far as ongoing activities, when you engage Skyriver IT, we not only assign engineers to your account, but we assign what's called a virtual Chief Information Officer, so a vCIO. And the vCIO is charged with developing a 3-year strategy roadmap for use of technology. They provide you with quarterly assistance and meetings with reports that show exactly how things are going. And you can also expect detailed annual budgets. In the annual budgets, what you can see is basically all your hardware spend, your software spend, your services spend, and we help you manage those things. Usually we find that clients see some savings from us helping them manage all of their IT spend. All of this with jargon-free communication, so we speak to you in plain English, just like I'm doing on this phone call, no technical jargon. Next slide. So a little bit about our IT consulting solutions. Me personally, I'm a CPA. I've been around a lot of ERP systems. I'll call them the good, the bad, and the ugly of ERP over the years. And during the pandemic, we were asked to find some solutions for our clients that were leaving behind their offices. So that's where our relationship with Acumatica kind of got started. And we've been, very fortunate to grow with them. They have a very nice solution in the market, and it's one of the leading cloud-based ERP solutions out there. We feel that this is something that really is a way to kind of future-proof your business and provide you with the right tools to get everybody on the same page. Next slide. So similar to Skyriver IT, Acumatica also has a customer bill of rights. So what you can expect, ours is on the left, theirs is on the right. So with us, like I mentioned earlier, jargon-free communication, so no techno babble. The days of calling your IT guy and having somebody talk to you and some kind of condescending, acronym-ridden technical jargon is gone. That's not how we work. You have the right to get your issue resolved right the first time. So first time resolution is a big deal for us. Our goal is 95% first time resolution. So we don't slap band-aids on things, and we make sure we get it right the first time. And then live answer. So when you call us, you're not talking to dispatchers, you're not talking to people that you have to explain your issue to, and then the next thing is you get the password guy, and that's all he knows is how to reset passwords. And then by the time you're done, you explained your issue 3-4 times over and are frustrated. So that's one of the things we got rid of. We are frustration-free IT support. So when you talk to us, usually you are talking to somebody that is working with our knowledge base, and with that knowledge base, we are able to provide the right answers at the right time. So that said, if we look over to the right, you'll see that Acumatica also mirrors a lot of our same points here on the left. And so you can see that they have an end user license agreement that's, as far as EULAs go, easier to understand and read. And then also 24/7 customer support and getting things done right the first time. Some of the other things that they offer are caps on price increases, which is nice to have, 3%, and pretty much the whole pricing model is very different than other solutions that are out there. So the days of every time you hire somebody, you have to pay the software company for another seat, those days are gone. You just basically size up the solution once and you bring your entire company on all at once. Next slide. So over the last couple of years, we've seen a big transformation in business. The remote working is here to stay. In order to facilitate the remote working, businesses had to kind of shift away from maybe on-premise solutions, that were kind of the norm before the pandemic. And then now what we've seen is a transformation into running your business digitally. So what that means is basically having a lot of your solutions up in the cloud. So not tethering yourself to physical infrastructure at your work environment. So that's a big it's a big change. And along with that change, there's a number of benefits. Next slide. So what is the single biggest benefit? Having one version of the truth. So having all your departments basically look at information that is coming out of the same system. So the days of having sales and marketing with their reports, operations with their reports, finance with their reports, and it becomes a Tower of Babel, and everybody's kind of talking about different numbers and different things like that. Those days are gone. Having a solution like Acumatica gets everybody on the same page and one version of the truth. Along with this one version of the truth is just like you're not tethered to one physical location with your software, you're not tethered to the device either. So by that, if you want to, access Acumatica, you can use your smartwatch. You can ask Alexa or Siri. You can do it on your laptop. You can do it on your iPad. You can do it on your smartphone. So a lot of different options in terms of accessing your data and knowing at any point in time where you're at with your business. Next slide. So what can you come to expect with Acumatica? Well, the general business edition's kind of, the basics. And so we're going to kind of cover a little bit about what comes with this edition. So obviously financials, but also you can get customer management, so CRM solution. You get reporting and dashboards, so business intelligence reports, dashboards, they all kind of come pre-baked. Project accounting, so if you need to track different project costing, you now have the tools to do that. You can also run your payroll through here if you'd like and save some money on payroll services. And all of these solutions, again, come with the ability to just access the data on any device. So mobile devices, are the name of the game. So you can check and see how your business is doing while you're at the beach. Next slide. So what kind of industry editions do we have here? So I covered the general business edition. That's for your typical small business. But if you're in a specialized industry, be it construction, distribution, manufacturing, or e-commerce, there are special editions that are basically put together with some more bells and whistles and things that allow you to integrate with different tools. So for example, if you're in the construction business and you need to track retainage, you need to do different project estimates, budgets, etc. This is a great tool for that. How to do distribution and warehousing, basically warehouse management solutions, barcoding solutions, tracking, containers that are being shipped in and out. You get that with the distribution edition. Manufacturing edition kind of builds on the distribution edition, but then, as far as costing, you're able to do a lot of the different types of cost accounting. So you can track your raw materials costs, you can track your overhead, your labor, the rate variances, the usage variances, and that's what most manufacturing companies like to keep themselves busy with, understanding their numbers, understanding what's driving their profitability. And then finally, e-commerce. So this solution talks to a lot of the different platforms that are out there that e-commerce companies are using. So in addition to the, again, warehousing distribution piece, just the integration with the front ends with the different e-commerce solutions that are on the market. Next slide. When you deploy this solution, you have basically two options. You can kind of go for a hosted solution in the cloud, or you can go for your own solution in the private cloud. And so by private cloud, we mean Microsoft Azure. So if you have some pause about having, multiple companies being hosted out of the same set of resources in the Amazon cloud, then you can, choose to have your discrete resources managed out of the Microsoft Azure cloud. And so this is something that a number of clients opt for, depending on what industry you're in. Most defense contractors will lean towards the Microsoft Azure solution. Next slide. In terms of the built-in capabilities of the system, they're quite vast, but there's also a whole ecosystem of different, what we'll call best-of-breed solutions out there. So rather than reinvent the wheel, there are bolt-on solutions for a number of things. So for example, if you're looking to have your taxes done and you use a service like Avalara that works swimmingly with this software, and so you won't run into any issues. If you have marketing automation tools like HubSpot, again, that will fully integrate. And as I mentioned earlier, on the e-commerce side, there's BigCommerce and Shopify integrations, and a number of other integrations, mainly on the shipping side. So lots of different solutions there. So, and this is just a small sampling. There's literally a whole ecosystem that grows by the day. And so if you have another solution that's not listed here, we can kind of find quickly if it has a current integration or it's something that can be slated to be integrated down the road. Next slide. So one of the things that's usually keeping people up at night is cybersecurity. And so when you go with a solution like this, all of the enterprise grade security features are built in. And so you're going to be getting, basically top-notch cybersecurity along with your solution, something you don't have to, solve on your own. But if you are doing this, again, the old school method, client server environment, on-premise solutions, then, the security issues are going to be definitely something you have to deal with. So good way to get top-notch security without having to, solve it yourself. Next slide. One of the nice things about working with a company like Acumatica is you have access to your data anywhere. And by this, I mean access to the tables, the underlying tables where your data is stored. So you can extract data from the tables, work with it, massage the data in Excel or other tools, and then re-upload it if you like. Get answers to questions that you have with your data. So being able to mine your own data is a really nice option, and we'll have Q&A here in just a little bit. So that's as far as data ownership. That's one of the probably single most distinguishing and differentiating features that Acumatica brings to the table is the ease with which you can upload and download data into the system. Next slide. I touched on this briefly, the licensing model. So the way most companies do this with the traditional licensing model is you pay for those seats you can afford early on. You can't really bring most of your company on because it costs a lot of money every time you have to add a seat, and seems to be a sore point with a lot of the market out there for these types of solutions that, as you grow your business, you have to be paying the software company for this solution. So how's this change with Acumatica? Well, there's no per user per seat costs. Basically, you size up the solution and you bring your whole company on all at once. And so having everybody on the same system is a huge advantage. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. Along with that, there's an Acumatica University. You can get all your training there, so you don't have to pay extra for training. That's a nice feature as well. It's very useful courses out on the university, different ways to get all the credentials you need to run the system properly. Next slide. So this is going to be explained here by Aaron. I'm going to drop off now, and if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A section. There's a chat feature at the top of your toolbar. If you click on that, you can start, writing out some of those questions, and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation.
Thank you for that, Rudy. I'm going to go ahead and jump back in here and show you guys where Acumatica currently ranks against other ERP systems. This graph here is by G2, which is the largest tech market space for software reviews by real users. In this report, you can see that Acumatica ranked highest in customer satisfaction. They also ranked #1 in momentum out of 11 leading ERP systems. The momentum ranking is based on employee growth, revenue growth, and social growth with the system in place. According to Nucleus Research, which is the leading provider of investigative IT research and advisory services, out of 22 vendors, Acumatica actually ranked highest in usability against a field of well-established competitors in the ERP space. And IDC is a premier global provider in market space intelligence, advisory services, and events for the technology industry. As you can see, they ranked Acumatica a leader in mid-market cloud ERP. The IDC graph is based on two primary categories, capabilities and strategies. The y-axis pinpoints the vendor's current capabilities and menu of services and how well it aligns with the vendor is to the customer's needs. The x-axis indicates how well the vendor's future strategies aligns with the customers that will require in 3 to 5 years. IDC placed Acumatica in the leaders category, positioning it above Microsoft, Oracle NetSuite, and Sage. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jake, and he'll demo the product for you all.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Give me a moment here. I'm just going to get my screen ready to present. the meantime, I'll give you guys a little background on myself. Again, my name is Jake. I've been with Skyriver for about 4 years. I'm an engineer here and an implementation, I guess one of the implementation consultants for Acumatica as well. And I've just been working with Acumatica for a few years, and we are very excited about it here at Skyriver IT. Just give me a moment here. Let's get the share kicked off. Okay, at this time, you guys should be able to see my screen. Just a quick shameless plug here, because Skyriver IT is always trying to save you money. If you're a Prime member, if you sign up for Grubhub Plus, you get your free delivery with Grubhub. I know everyone got their voucher, but just to save you $5, Amazon did just release this, so you can link your Prime membership to your Grubhub account and get free delivery. So just shameless plug there. But let's hop right into the solution here. Acumatica, as Rudy mentioned, is a born in the cloud solution. It is born and bred in the cloud, which means that it wasn't designed as like a local software application like some of the competitors, and then moved to the cloud later. It was actually designed in the cloud and is designed to behave in the cloud just for the exact purposes that Rudy mentioned. It's just availability of data, high availability of your data, so you can access it anywhere at any time. Now you might see here, I do have, this is my demo instance. So if you're seeing a little bit of slowness, it's because I'm running it on my machine along with a lot of other stuff. So if it's a little sticky, don't assume it's a solution. It's actually my machine because it's running it. If you were running it in the cloud instance, it would be much, much quicker. So without further ado, let me just go ahead and hop into the instance here. If you did have multiple instances or multiple tenants, multiple companies, you will see that that is an option on login. But let me go ahead and talk about the landing page, because I did just log in and there's a lot of data here, and I want to talk about why it's important and what it can do. So first off, I can change my date in the system, which is really important if you need to manipulate transactions from a different day and time. It is multi-tenant, multi-currency, and multilingual. And from multi-tenant perspective, you can see I have a lot of, or just a few different companies here. I have my capitals company, my products where I do my retail and wholesale, and then my services. So I can break out these different branches and companies based on what I want to see, or if I want to, kind of hone down what I'm seeing in my dashboards here. And Acumatica is driven by generic inquiries and dashboards. It's meant to be visual and interactive, so you can react to your data and consume the data that you need in order to do your job more efficiently. So just to kind of cover what you see, these are all different dashboards. You see I have sales opportunities, sales order by trend and month. These are all driven by the generic inquiries and the data, the live data in my system. I can click on any of these and see what is driving this data on my dashboard. So if I see, I'm right off the bat, I have some late orders, I can click on that. And if you notice, it opens it up in a new tab. I haven't lost my place. And this is true for throughout the entire system. You don't have to restrict yourself to a single window. You can open up and move the tabs around and look at data in comparison, or however you prefer to consume your data, or whatever makes it more efficient for you to do your job. But as you can see, I clicked on this late orders, and I can see it provided me with all my late orders and which clients they're going to. I can look at, this is my drill down, but I can look at my late orders based on when the request was. These are pretty old. So there's a lot of information right off the bat there. These results here can be tailored down. That's why they added this cool little search box, or I actually added this search box at the top for my customer ID. So if I wanted to look at, I have my Ulta Ace customer, I want to see this data that I have, my accounts receivable, my support data, all based on this one customer that I have. So I clicked on that, and you see, boom, it restricts all of this data based on one single customer. So as you see, it's really powerful right off the bat. You can alter your results and your visuals based on whatever is being discussed or whatever you're emailing about. So you have a lot of power right off the bat just in your dashboards. And these are all manipulatable and changeable. So there's this design button up here, and I can hit edit and change any of these, remove them, move them around based on what I want to see. You can create and drive these dashboards by any of these generic inquiries that are created. So whether it's your vendor list, your vendor price sheets, whatever it might be, you can add and present this in a dashboard-like setting based on any generic inquiry that you have or that you generate within your system. Again, your data is, you can expose your data however you wish. And let me go ahead and just turn off this design function here, and I'll show you here how. So let's click on this late orders again, just to show you about this generic inquiry power. So I've got this page open. I can hit customize and edit my GI. So and it's a really powerful tool. Allows you to manipulate your interface based on what your needs are for your organization. So it's taking a little bit to load here. Again, it's it's because it's running on my system, but there it goes. Here I have got my different tables and the relation tables, so I can expand those if I need to, add parameters and conditions on how I want to present the data, and different entry points if I want to present that somewhere else. So you have lots and lots of options when it comes to manipulating just any old screen or any screen that you might have that presents data to any user. So again, very powerful there. In addition to these dashboards, you can share them out. You can share them with other users or whoever it may be, so that it's not restricted to just your user. You can share this data, share this visual data with anybody. Let's hop down to the additional dashboards. So like this is just a few that I've placed here. So if I click on dashboards and hit show all, you can see I have a lot right off the cuff. Let's look at a project manager. Let's say you're using this for project management. Here at the project manager level, it's loading all of my active projects, my late projects, my your tasks, your overdue tasks. I can see right off the bat what I need to do, how I need to action this data in order to perform my duty as a project manager. Then this is preloaded. Again, these are dashboards that are readily available to you based on how you want to use the system. So if I go down here, let's check out another dashboard. Let's say the management dashboard. As a manager, this could be my default dashboard when I log into the system. Again, no user limit. So if I want my managers to have a dashboard just to log in with, I can see, oh, here's my profit trend. My deal sizes are going down, my inventory trend, budget versus income. There's a lot of information that I need to be aware of in order to do my job, or like even speak to my direct superiors, whatever it may be. And again, these are all generic inquiry driven. So if I need to look at my profit trend, I can click on it here and it'll tell me what's driving that data and those graph values. Give it a moment to load here. There it goes. Yeah, so it's going to show me, and again, all of these items are clickable. So if I wanted to drill down in the sales orders or whatever it might be, I can do that. Let me go ahead and close here, and let's shift gears again and talk about. Let's go into inventory. A lot of businesses need a specific inventory behavior, or like even automation, which we can touch on later. But Acumatica does a lot of really cool stuff with their the inventory management. As you can see, there's a lot of information here, but I'm going to just kind of tighten it down to, let's say, like the stock items, just to kind of go through what a stock item would look like. And let's say I have Nikon cameras. Let's go ahead and look at for my Nikon 7500. There it is there. So this is one of my entries for my stock items. As you can see, there's a lot of settings here, but it allows for a lot of customization. You don't necessarily have to utilize all of this. You can, kind of hone it down if you only have very specific stock needs or even non-stock needs. But they started adding classes and item classes for, reporting and for price analysis. So there's a lot of different tweaks you can make and grouping you can do for these different devices. But what I want to point out is there's a lot of information for your unit of measure for, even shipping. It'll tell you how much it costs, how much, let's see, where my warehouse details. It'll tell me where it's stored. It'll talk about the item itself. I can upload pictures of, so if I have anyone that's not sure what they're looking at, I might have a weird manufacturing item, I can upload pictures here. I can identify the packaging. So when I go to ship this, it'll tell me what kind of package I need, which is a whole another layer. Acumatica does integrate with shipping, like FedEx, UPS. If you need to integrate that for shipping quotes, generating shipping labels, that is also available for it. So I can, ship it, place the order, ship it, and have Acumatica generate the label, the pick list, the whole nine, and which we can hop into as well. Let me just hop over to. Let's do a sales order. Let's go ahead and do a sales order and see what that looks like. So I'm going to create a new sales order. And let's say one of my clients, I know they want laptops. They want like 5 or so laptops. I'm going to choose my client that I know wants the laptops. It's going to fill in their location. I can ship somewhere else if I want. And down here is where I'll fill out my laptop information. I can add my stock items. I can, and if I hit add stock item here, you'll see some really cool information. So this button is, I found, really unique from Acumatica. I can hit the sold since button and it will tell me what I've sold to my client recently And if I can look, oh, this is gave them some price breaks here. I can kind of honor that again. Stuff like that is really neat. Those kind of like one-off things that they've thought of. It make it really nice when it comes to customer relations and performing work. Because like, oh, I can just click on this and remember what I did previously or last year or whatever it might be. But in this case, let's say I want to ship them some laptops. My client wants 5 laptops. I'll go ahead and add and close that here. And it should add my inventory line down here, which has all the information that I need, which branch it's coming from, the line description, of course, the unit price, our extended price, and then any discount if I needed to do that. There's also an option here for mark for PO. So if I know that I'm getting low on stock for whatever reason, or if I know that it's not in stock, I can mark it for PO, and it'll create a purchase order for me on the fly as well, which is really nice. If you need you need to replenish it, it saves you a bunch of work creating a manual PO. It just generates it for you based on the item you have selected. But so let's say we're shipping this one laptop, and the client wants some more laptops. Say he just asked for 2,000. Well, here I put in 2,000, and lo and behold, hey, you don't have enough. The system will tell you if you don't have enough stock, which I think is pretty cool. Also, you can see the unit price changed. You can program, or I guess pre-set up an automation for price breaks. So if you provide them like 30 laptops, it might be one price, and then if you bump it up, or if I go back down to 5, I think I have a price break. But if I go to 1, my unit price goes to 500. So I've got a pre-built-in price break for if they buy 5, they save some money. So that's pretty neat from a sales perspective. Now let's go ahead and let's say we're going to ship this now. Let's bring this down to 1. I'm going to save my sales order here, and let's go ahead and ship it. So I'm going to hit create shipment here. So I've got a sales order. It's ready to go. If I've got a customer order number, I'd pump that in there as well. But again, let's give it a moment. It's loading here because it's running on my machine. So I have my shipment date. I can move this if I need to. I can change which warehouse it's shipping from. But for now, let's say that's all good. And now I've got, it's going to happen pretty quickly here, but now I've got a shipment ready to go. So as a warehouse manager, I would see this shipment show up in my, ready to ship tile or whatever it may be. There's a few things I can do. I can confirm the shipment if I'm ready to ship it, or I can say, let's say, print my pick list. I know I can set up an automation to have these automatically generated, but in this case, I could just say, hey, here's your pick list. I printed it out. Go ahead and scan it and go ahead and find this item and get this order ready. So pick lists are readily available. Even the barcoding and stuff like that is readily available. But in this case, let's just go ahead and confirm the shipment because we're ready to bill our client. So now the shipment's been confirmed, it's been shipped out. Let's do actions, prepare invoice. So what this will do, or I could click the button here. It's nice, they added a button. So what this is done now, it's shipped out. My client's got their shipping information, and now I'm ready to bill my client. So I've gotten from sales order to shipment to invoice here in, I don't know, matter a couple minutes. But my invoice is ready to go. I can send that over to my client. I can release it if it's ready. Otherwise, I can do, let's say, print the invoice out if I want to mail it to them, or I can even send it via email if I need to. But that's all available right off the bat. This is not an add-on. And obviously, we can manipulate it with your own logo. You can change this information or how this page displays your the costs or whatever you need. You can manipulate any of these reports or how your invoices show up, how your POs show up. They're all available for you for customization. So let's go back here to now that our sales orders is done, our invoice is done. Let's talk about, I don't know, we've already done a shipment, maybe a purchase order. Let's talk about a purchase order. Let's say we had a PO we generated. Oopsies. You know what, let's use this. There's a lot of settings in this, fortunately, but let me go ahead and point this out here. It's a shameless plug for the universal search box. I found this really powerful because when you have an ERP system and you're not sure what you're looking for, where exactly it is, a lot of times you wish you could just, type it in somewhere. Well, here I can do purchase orders, and it's going to search my entire system for menu items, transactions, files, help topics. It'll pull it up all in this universal search box. I can't tell you how helpful this is because if I'm looking for a file or let's say an expense receipt that someone sent and I know the name of it, I can search the entire system for it without having to find like that specific expense report. So let's say in my purchase orders here, if I needed to replenish, let's say some of those laptops, I could do so. It seems like it's struggling just a little bit. Give it a moment. And there it goes. So if I create a new purchase order here, just to kind of show off the screen, I can select which vendor these laptops are coming from, assuming that I'm refilling them. Let's just say they're coming from our AA services. If I do add item or add matrix item. So I'm going to leave matrix item alone because this is where it becomes a little bit more unique. But let's do add item. And if I'm looking for, oh, it looks like it's kind of restricted me to what AA services sells. So this is the information that I have. This is what they'll allow me to purchase. So that's also kind of nice that it will kind of restrict your purchase orders to whatever vendor you've selected. So it kind of narrows down that guesswork that you have. And even with pricing, you can set up your vendor worksheet pricing and upload custom pricing from your vendors if they have certain price breaks, kind of like what we do for when we sell. You can upload those different price breaks in the vendor pricing. Those can all be uploaded and customized within Acumatica as well. But let's hop over to mobile because I think we kind of have an idea on how the inventory works. So from more of a day-to-day perspective, and just give me a moment while I set this up here. I would like to show you guys what the mobile app looks like. Give me one moment. The laptop's being fussy. Okay. So now you should see here my phone now on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and open up my work app here, and you can see I have an Acumatica application. I'm going to go ahead and launch that. And I'll use my Face ID because I did have that integrated with my device. And it'll take a moment to load here, but you can see that I have pretty much the same menu options as I did within the Acumatica web-based version. So I can go down here and like Rudy said, you can take a look and see how your business is doing from the beach. But you can see I can go through any of these items, look at my purchase orders, look at my projects, sales orders, anything that could be going on. I can perform any actions I could perform within the web version or the browser version on my mobile device, which is really powerful. Now, let's say like I'm out in the field and I'm going to go pick up donuts and bagels for my client meeting. Let's go ahead and create an expense receipt here. So I'm going to hit the plus sign. My description is donuts and bagels. I'll go ahead and take a picture of the receipt. This is 2021, so you can tell the prices are a lot different. Receipt has gone up by like $15 since this date. Maybe more. All right, so I went ahead and manipulated the image so I can fit it in. I'm going to go ahead and hit done here. I have donuts and bagels. I'm going to choose my expense item. You can pre-bake these, or you can change it to based on what your expense items are or what you're willing to approve. But let's go ahead and say this is I guess you don't do business breakfast, but let's call it business dinner and lunch. My amount was $38.49. Go down, let's say it was my Alta Ace customer. My AA customer here. I'm gonna hit save. And what I've done is I've just created an expense receipt here on my mobile device. And just to kind of show you the instantaneous and that single source of truth, your data is live at all times. I'm gonna go ahead and hop over here to our expense receipts. And let's take a look at, let's see if this one's shown up yet. And there it is. You can see instantaneously we've got our donuts and bagels receipt and expense receipt here. It's open, so it hasn't been submitted yet. But as you can see, it's got all the information that I filled out in the mobile app. And if I go over here to files, I can pull up that the picture of the receipt that I took. And that's like it's how instantaneous the data is. It's just a single source of truth. It's always there, available, even if I'm just making small changes on my mobile device. So again, very powerful, even from the dashboard perspective. I can wake up in the morning, look at my dashboards if that's what I want to do first thing in the morning. But that information, that mobile capability is readily available for you there, which I think is really, really nice. Next section I want to hop into is, just from this mobile behavior, I guess, perspective, reports. There's hundreds of reports out of the box. So there's a lot of information that can be made available to you. Right here, I haven't touched any of this. So right here on the finance information, you can see that there's already a lot of P&L balance sheets. But if I wanted to run a P&L, let's say for, I don't know, let's say September of 2020. And I'm going to go ahead and run a P&L. You see it spat out that data right away because, again, that's the database has all that information readily available for me. So it built a report for me on the fly. And not only is it just like a pretty good looking P&L, all of this data in the web browser is clickable. It's actionable. I can see what's driving these values within my report. If I go over to my total revenue and click on this 63, it's going to pull up the general ledger details that is driving those numbers. And I can drill down even further based on an account and seeing all these different transactions and which branches they go to. I can do analysis on the fly. And again, clicking these items is really powerful. Being able to see what's driving these, like the gross profit, is a really powerful thing. Because you have a paper report, it's not going to do that. I can't tell you. You have to pull up a whole another binder or another sheet just to show you that kind of information. So that's pretty neat in itself. I'll go ahead and pull up another report here. Let's do balance sheet. Why not? And maybe we'll run it for the same time period. Same thing. Spat it out really fast. It's going to give me my balance sheet, my total. I can click on this total assets number here and see what's driving those values down to the transaction. Again, very powerful reporting tool. Let's hop over to a different section here. Automation. You're going to see a few sections with automation here, and you'll really set up automation based on what your needs are. And again, this is another very unique aspect of Acumatica. For instance, in inventory, you can automate item lookups, storage lookups if you need, or scan and receive. You can automate certain processes. So you kind of eliminate some human touches and human touch aspect of these certain processes, whether it's inventory or even like sales orders, the pick, pack, and ship. You can automate some of these processes to make it easier for it to, like, let's say, generate pick lists, or automatically generate pick lists first thing in the morning and then have them printed out. That's all available to you and kind of baked in. And the last kind of final thing, there's a lot to jump into, fixed assets, receivables, different aspects of banking, payroll, and the CRM in general. There's just so much within Acumatica that it can cover and that it does so well. I can't really hop into it, but just due to time. But what I really do want to emphasize is usability. There's so much visually available to you to react to, all the way back down to the dashboards, that the usability of this product is unmatched in my opinion. And down to even the support. If I hit a question mark in the top corner, it's going to give me filtered out data based on whatever page I'm on. If I go to my estimating page, let's say I click on estimates and I hit this question mark in the top, it's going to give me support articles based on the page I'm on. Like, I don't have to go to Google and search for all this stuff. It's going to how to use estimates, orders, and opportunities. Like, it's the data that I need readily available, all the way down to the training. Acumatica's kind of got it figured out. But again, I'll go back to the dashboards page. I really want to emphasize the usability and the manipulatability. I guess that's not a word. How well I can manipulate the system and how fluid it is. It is a really fantastic solution, especially for manufacturing, distribution, and just a general business management all around. The clients that I've used and implemented with have been very satisfied, and it runs a lot more smoothly than some of the competitors. But the last thing I'll leave you with is their marketplace. Rudy did show off some of the bolt-ons that are available, but they do have an entire marketplace for any specific needs that you may have. I think Rudy mentioned earlier, like tax. If you use a tax solution like Avalara, they do have a bolt-on for this. I think we're using it for tax rates based on state, so it'll automatically refresh those tax rates every year. But there's so much more. But feel free to raise your hand, leave a question in the comments. But I think that'll do it for my presentation, and thank you so much for watching.
All right. Thank you for that, Jake. We'll go ahead and start our Q&A. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to write in the chat. I know we had a few already in here. You want to go through it, Rudy?
Yes. So I see a question here from Chris about, let's see, tell me how you're better than the competition. Okay, so I'd say, everybody can kind of wax on about how great their companies are, but in our case, there's certain things that we can kind of prove out with statistics, right? So customer satisfaction rate, this is based on surveys that we send out with every ticket that we open. We have in excess of 97% customer satisfaction. This is measured on an annual basis, and we've gone pretty much, I'd say, almost a full year without having any, detrimental marks on that from our customers. And if we do get them, we review them every week, every Friday. We review customer feedback, and that's how we get good at this. So above and beyond that, I mentioned earlier, our goal is 95% first-time resolution. I can, state that we're, hovering around 90% first-time resolution. Our goal is 95, but we set ambitious goals, and getting, your issues resolved right the first time, 9 out of 10 times, I'd say, is what sets us apart. And then finally, again, the type of support that we offer, where we assign engineers directly to deal with the issues, and you're talking directly to engineers as opposed to a lot of middlemen. That's clear savings in terms of your time and less struggles. But if you want to read about what people have to say, you can read our Google reviews, and those are quite good as well. So I was just kind of trying to talk about things that I can back up with certain information. So hopefully that helps as far as that question goes. There was another question about customizations, and I'll say that on that, there are a lot of fields that are available. You can repurpose existing fields. There's a lot of things you can do before actually having to customize the software and add, additional functionality to it. So I'd say that our biggest recommendation to clients is let's adopt best practices. Let's see what the system will do out of the box. Sometimes it's a little awkward to change business processes, but at the same time, I think it saves people a lot of headaches over the long haul if you just learn to use the software the way it's engineered. And if we find that you really truly do need a customization, then those things are also available. We have a question here from Vinny. Can you customize per user's access? So yes, so this has to do with, I'm imagining security in terms of what they can access and what they can't access. So yes, you can pretty much limit what the different users will access. It's a role-based system, and so we assign roles that give access to certain screens and certain data to those roles, and then we can sit down and customize it. It's I've been through these implementations with Jake before, and they are very long Excel-based spreadsheets that go on forever about all the things you can and can't do, and these things can all be customized for the different roles that you have in your business. Question from Rick here. Are industry versions capabilities available in all licenses? We are 75% distribution, 25% e-commerce. Okay. So here there are, let's just call it different bundles of functionality that are called the different industry versions. So when you get one industry version, it has certain things bundled into it. You can add a la carte other things. And so if you find the one that's best suited to your business, in this case, where it says we're 75% distribution, 25% e-commerce, I'm going to actually lean towards turning on the e-commerce integration if that, is one, because that functionality will work out actually more economical to have that built in. And then, you know, it does come with the basic in terms of warehousing and distribution. So should cover both needs for you. And then there's a question here on Bamboo HR integration. So I'll defer this one to Jake, if you can kind of look up if Bamboo is HR is integrated. I do not know that answer off the top of my head, but we'll get back to you on that. And then what I can say is that there is a lot of different integrations that may not be listed there, and it's just a matter of talking to the different software vendors and getting access to their APIs. So there are different tools that these softwares use to talk to each other. And so with that API, we can basically get pretty much any system to talk to another system. So so that kind of covers the existing questions. I don't know if we have any more, if you want to just type away, or we'll be glad to provide you with answers on that. In the meantime, I'll do a little bit of song and dance here while Jake's typing.
Oh,
Another
sorry,
thing
I can verbally respond. Sorry about that, Rudy.
There you go.
No, I was just saying, I was typing back to you there, Rick, but it doesn't look like there's a native integration for Bamboo, but as Rudy mentioned, there's a lot of API integration based solutions out there that can just simply move data from database to database, even on an automation schedule. So stuff like this, if you have your HR, your individual's information are changing, you need to update that, or if it's time that you need to update, that is available, even if it's not just a integration that's available right off the bat.
Thanks for that, Jake. Yeah, in terms of we'll just focus on this HR integration. So there are basically some built-in functionalities within this ERP software, even though it's not, it's not holding itself out to be an HR information management solution. But just the same, there are a lot of things that are integrated in the system, because you can basically run payroll out of this system. So you have a lot of that functionality already built in. There's another question here from Chris. This seems very similar to Microsoft Process Pro. What are the cost advantages compared to this system? So unfortunately, I don't know a whole lot about Microsoft Process Pro. What I know about are the different Dynamics offerings that the Microsoft solution offers. I believe there's something called Business Central, and it's basically a cloud-based version of a software solution that used to go by the name of Exapta. It used to be Dynamics AX back in the day. So it's, to me, my understanding, it's some kind of reskinned version of a client server-based solution from a while ago. But I do not know a whole lot, and we'll look into Microsoft Process Pro going forward. There are a lot of other solutions on the market. I'd say the one that it's closest to is probably NetSuite. And the way I kind of speak to the system, I say it's probably 9/10 the functionality of NetSuite for half the price. That's my take on it. That's a personal opinion. It's not something Acumatica is saying, but there's tremendous value in the way they price their software and all the functionality that comes with it. All right, well, I see we're coming up on the hour here. If there are no further questions, I'll hand it back over to Aaron.
All right, thank you guys so much. We will be reaching out to everyone that attended here just to see if you guys are interested in a more specific demo. We have specialized, like what Rudy says, there's different editions. So I'll reach out to you guys, see if you're interested, maybe get a demo with you and your team. But I just want to say thank you all for your time, and I hope everyone enjoyed their lunch. If you did have any questions regarding the Grubhub voucher, please feel free to reach out to me or Daniel will be able to help you guys out with that. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.